Hello, everyone. Um, I'm Lanice Young. I'm Curtis Ashford's oldest sister. I was here 2 years ago, and I remember everything like it was yesterday. Listening to, I initially didn't want to speak because I felt like I said my piece the last time 2 years ago. But after listening to everything he said again and hearing him talk about the trauma and the generational trauma and then listening to his family. I'm 52 years old. My brother was 24 years old when he was murdered. He's the youngest of five of us. We grew up in that same trauma he speaks about. Our parents were on substance abuse. My mother left us when I was 12 and left me to take care of four little children. We were separated with Department of Social Services. I went to live with my grandmother. The other four children went to live with their father. So we were split up. Everyone has choices. Everyone, has some form of dysfunction in their families, whether it's immediate or not. My brother has two younger brothers than me, who were out in the streets, were not so much part of gangs, but were in and out of jail. But that wasn't his life. He didn't choose that path. He was in South Boston because my brothers hung out down there. They lived down there. One of them lived down there, and they frequented South Boston all the time. Mr. Holloman chose to take the life of my brother for no reason at all, none worth mentioning, because you didn't know him. You didn't know what he was about, where he was from, who his family was, if he had a child. My nephew was 10 months old when my brother was taken. He never knew his son. And my nephew's one thing was to know who his father was. I was the constant connection to my nephew for my brother. I was the one of my siblings and most of my family, because my family is very dysfunctional to this day. But I am the constant amongst everyone who tries to hold everyone together. And that's what we did for my nephew until he was taken from us. And in the manner he was taken, that resembled so much of his father, was absolutely devastated. To listen to him say that he blames himself because maybe if he didn't take my brother away, my nephew would still be here. Yes, that's true. It could have been a whole different situation. They may not have lived in the neighborhood they were living in, so he wouldn't have been out in the park riding his bike and got hit with a stray bullet. That's true. It could have been. But it still doesn't negate the fact that you took the life of a man who you did not know for no apparent reason at all. You snuffed out a life who could have been so much more, who was on the path to do better things with himself, with having a son and his own family, and not following the path of his brothers out in the street. Even though both of my brothers, neither one of them have been in jail or incarcerated or in trouble in 25 years. They've straightened their lives. They, are doing well for themselves. But listening to his family speak about his change and how far he's come. Yes, he has come a long way. On paper, he looks great, but that's behind bars. Out in society where life does life and things happen, what is he going to do? Yes, they can give him the support and things that he never had, or try, to help him as much as they can. But that still doesn't change the fact that since he was 19 years old, he has not lived in this society that we live in and all the things that's happening. How is he going to deal with that? Does he deserve the chance to deal with that? In my eyes, no, he doesn't. because he did the one unspeakable act that you have no right to do. But that's not for me to decide. That's for you all to decide. My forgiveness has come a long time ago, but it wasn't for him, it was for me. As same with Roberto Mendez. When Roberto Mendez got released a year ago, I was here. Every time I'm here, I said that eventually I know Edward Holloman is going to be released. We know what his sentence was, and eventually he will get out. And I've accepted whatever that looks like. If that's now or if it's in another 2 years or whenever it is, I've accepted that. But in my heart of hearts, I don't believe he deserves to get out. I sympathize with his family and especially his daughter because her whole life has been with her father behind bars. But my nephew's 15 years on this earth was without his father at all. And it's hard to comprehend and accept that this is what it is, but we have no choice. My understanding and my feelings about all of this is God makes no mistakes. My brother and my nephew are together again, and that was all my nephew wanted. So I'm at peace with that aspect of it. But every time this comes around, year after year or however many, I will always be here because there's no one left to speak for them. And if I'm not one to do it, then so be it. I don't believe Edward Holloman deserves to get released from jail just yet. Yes, he's making great strides, but I think he still has a ways to go. And whatever it's going to be, I have accepted that.